Trump made the historic decision to appoint special ambassadors to what he calls troubled Hollywood. Hollywood hasn't just been in financial trouble in recent years. They've also been in a lot of ideological trouble. And in fact, those two issues are compounding on each other. He found 3 heroes that could possibly save the day. Or they could just spy for him. They could just be his Hollywood spies and report back, give him intel on what all the entertainers are saying behind the scenes that they're too afraid to say out in the public. For instance, that they support him and are too scared to talk about it.
Yep.
But here was Donald Trump's post on Truth Social just yesterday. He said, "It's my honor to announce Jon Voight, Mel Gibson, and Sylvester Stallone to be special ambassadors to a great but very troubled place, Hollywood, California. They will serve as special envoys to me for the purpose of bringing Hollywood, which has lost much business over the last 4 years, to foreign countries back, bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. These 3 talented people will be my eyes and ears, and I will get done what they suggest. It will again be, like the United States of America itself, the golden age of Hollywood."
More movies about boxers, more movies about Jesus.
So, I mean, these are the most likely suspects, of course. Jon Voight has been very vocal about his support for Trump. Mel Gibson and Sylvester Stallone endorsed him very loudly in this past election.
Stallone was one of those ones that I think was a later realization for people. There was plenty of people, and to his credit, he waited till season 2 of Tulsa King was winding down. I don't blame him one bit, but I don't think it really hurt anything anyways.
Well, it's weird, right?
The tides are turning.
Aren't the people watching that show likely
yes,
neutral or right-leaning?
Well, I mean, the point isn't for those people. The point is for the people who might check it out, who are on Twitter. That's who they're worried about.
Or maybe he's worried about the people who are producing the show and platforming it.
Well, no, because I mean, Taylor Sheridan is a dude who seems like he'll work with just about anyone as long as they're good at their job.
He directs it?
He's the one who created the show.
He finances it.
And he wrote the show.
So it's just a one...
I mean, I'm sure there's other writers on it. I don't have the number or the script or anything.
There are a lot of people who can pull strings. Is all I'm saying.
And Taylor Sheridan is a dude who's got a lot of, when it comes to producers in Hollywood, he's up there with the upper echelon now as far as powerful people in the industry. He's got his own if you go on the Paramount Plus app, there's the Taylor Sheridan collection with all of the shows that he is putting out and running.
I've heard terrible things about was this his show, 1883?
I loved 1883.
I've heard terrible things about it.
I loved 1883. I never got to 1923, though.
Not that I ever gave it a chance myself. I'm just saying a lot of people said that it was very politicized and distasteful.
Landman, very good. Mayor of Kingstown, I'm a season behind on that one, but still very, very good. So, again, it all depends on your taste. But Sylvester Stallone, the point being that Sylvester Stallone was a latecomer to that kind of
You're
controversy.
saying it's likely that he was waiting until it was a little more convenient.
I mean, I can't say. It seemed like it came out after the election was already over. But again, I could have just not paying close enough attention. It's not like I keep an alert on my thing as to what Sylvester Stallone does.
No, he's one
of the few celebrities that I follow on Instagram.
It's worth speculating about it because this is a real issue. People wait until it is convenient.
He's also got
to speak about certain topics or support certain people, and celebrities.
But he's always been open about
exception when it comes to supporting Trump.
He has always been open about his friendship with Trump because their friendship goes back to Rocky IV or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not even necessarily saying that that's true of him, but it's been true of a lot of people. Yeah. And a lot of people, I'm sure, in Hollywood are still silent Trump supporters, and especially silently voted for him this past election and will continue to remain silent until it is absolutely, unequivocally, uncontroversial
But here's the
to
thing,
speak on it.
Then don't speak on it at all, right? Like
That's fine.
like my point is like, why have to have the opinion at all? It is more disingenuous if you had the opinion and you've just been waiting to say it until until it's okay. But if you have the opinion but you feel no inclination to share it because you're like, why does anybody give a crap what I think about this stuff anyways? I don't think of that as a problem at all.
It depends on the reasoning for your silence. If you think your opinion doesn't need to be shared and doesn't offer value, that's one thing. But if you feel that something is important to speak out about and you refrain from doing so because you have something to lose, that is not the virtuous decision. And one person who is actually, you know, mentioned here, Mel Gibson, did the opposite of that when he took a huge hit to his career, as did Jim Caviezel for making Passion of the Christ.
Yes. I guess maybe my perspective here is with all three of these actors is, do you focus on the years prior where they could have spoken up sooner, or do you focus on what can be accomplished in the next 4 years, whatever those goals may be, right? Because if the idea here is that you have to find, that's just a form of purity testing to me. You have to find somebody who spoke up at exactly the right time, said exactly the right thing. That's the person you've deemed capable of reaching other people. Well, no, the point here is that these people have spoken out. Maybe they could have spoken out sooner. Maybe they couldn't have. Do they have the clout or the reach to actually make inroads? Now, if we're talking about getting things made and turning things around, you can't just talk about an actor who said the right things 8 years ago and maybe lost work. It's not about that. It's about how much power do they have in the industry. One of the things I've talked about is they hate Mel Gibson in Hollywood. But every time he makes a movie, a lot of these sites end up having articles that come out that are neutral or positive about it because he is a powerful producer in the industry. He can afford to have the publicists getting people to say the right things about his projects. So it's not just about when they said it, it's about how much power do they have to make actual change going forward. In that case, like I don't know what Jon Voight is like as a producer. Like I just off the top of my head.
But they list off some of their more recent work here.
James Woods would have been a great name to add to this, I think.
They say Mel Gibson returned to directing the Oscar-winning film Hacksaw Ridge in 2016, has an upcoming action movie, Flight Risk, starring Mark Wahlberg.
I'm very excited to watch that.
Actually out in a week.
Yep.
And Sylvester Stallone recently starred in Tulsa King on Paramount Plus.
He's also, his family has
produced Jason Statham's action movie Working Man.
That's coming out soon too. That's
Jon
the Chuck
Voight
Dixon story.
Recently appeared in Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis, and the biopic on Ronald Reagan starring Dennis Quaid as Reagan. I forget what his character's name was though.
There's a lot there. I think James Woods would have been a great name to add to this.
James Woods, you think?
Yeah. Why? Well, he was he's been outspoken for a long period of time. He was one of the producers on Oppenheimer, and they actually asked him to not like they didn't want to acknowledge his producer role in that because he is so outspoken about politics.
Yeah, I recall the headlines coming out about that.
Yeah.
But maybe that just, I mean, Trump's kind of picking out his favorites here.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what he always does, right?
I wish Mark Wahlberg were on the list.
That would have been a good idea. He's the bad guy. And it's so funny because Carry On came out in December with Jason Bateman as the bad guy. And now we're going to have Flight Risk with, and it's a meme because everybody knows the Mark Wahlberg meme about, if I'd been on the plane during 9/11, things could have stopped the terrorists.
I'm just built different.
He's just built different. So look,
another celebrity ally of Trump's recently spoke out against Michelle Obama dissing the inauguration, which is happening on Monday. This just made me laugh, and I want to share it.
So is this your first inauguration?
No. I always hate the 5-second delay when they have to do this. Don't you hate it?
How have we not fixed this issue by now? It's 2025.
I was actually listening to your show a little bit before I got in the truck here, and I heard Michelle Obama's not attending. I would kindly remind her that years back, when Obama was first elected, I did not vote for him, but they asked me to play the inauguration, and I played.
What?
And I went. Had a good.
I have no recollection of this.
I was just looking into who performed at the
Is this true?
Obama inauguration the other day. I did not see him on the list.
The world has changed a whole ton.
Yeah.
I went for out of respect to the presidency, so I would kindly remind Miss Michelle about that.
I forgot about that, and that's cool because it's really not about the politics. It's about
Look, Tim and Kid Rock just not dress code efficient in their Jesse Waters appearances.
the office, and you got to respect it. Why isn't Michelle attending? All the other first ladies are.
Fix this problem.
I don't know. She seems a little angry. She might be. I don't know.
He was going to make a very specific joke there that I think he held himself back on.
If you can't say something nice,
Yeah,
let me hear it.
That's smart for husbands and people on live television.
Okay.
Thank you, Kid Rock. Very cool.
Informative as always.
They also got a statement from Mel Gibson reacting to his newfound title as an envoy. He said that it was just as much of a surprise to him. They found out at the same time that Trump's social media followers. I got the tweet at the same time as all of you. Nevertheless, I heed the call. My duty as a citizen is to give any help and insight I can. Any chance the position comes with an ambassador's residence. Get it? Because he just lost his house.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to Costa Rica, I thought.
Oh, that was just something that he didn't even know at the time when he mentioned that his house had actually burned down. He thought that was live on the interview.
Oh, he didn't even know yet.
He said, he goes, my house might be burned down. It did. He did end up it did burn down. He did go and speak with the firefighters locally, talked about it. He said, look, it's just stuff.
I saw some people saying that David Lynch's death had something to do with the wildfires, and I think that's got to be
sounds
fake.
Conspiracy.
That's got to be fake news.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, yeah, it's look. This could be great. I don't know.
Well, you're choosing envoys to Hollywood that are already hated by Hollywood.
You would have to find somebody. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, Taylor Sheridan would have been a great envoy to Hollywood if
Who
he could
else?
have done
Making
something
real
like that.
inroads. Who else?
Chris Nolan.
Yeah.
Chris Nolan. I mean, I don't think you're going to get him to commit to
I mean,
anything
as
like
long
that.
as we're just calling people out against their will.
Yeah. Mick G. Everyone's going to hate me for saying that.
Who else? Who else?
It's a very good question. The Obamas.
Some of them are just so insane that you already know they're not in the running.
Yeah.
But who is the most silent, strong silent type? Least annoying? You can probably guess that they would be open to the idea of an olive
I mean,
branch.
we don't really live in an age anymore of the respect held for a higher office. Therefore, you will do, it's kind of like what he was talking about here. It's like you went because the president invited you. Therefore, it was a great honor. We don't live in that time anymore.
You know what? Timothy Chalamet. That's
No.
who he should choose. Timothy Chalamet to be his special ambassador to Hollywood.
Somebody says, Mighty Rax says Rob Schneider. I mean, I think he'd have to be a bigger name than, as great as Rob Schneider is, it would have to be somebody, like I said, with a great producing power at a high level in Hollywood. So, well, look, it's funny because Hollywood could use a little bit of help now, given the fact that, the fires are burning down stuff all around them. And Disney had a good year in 2024, but that does not necessarily negate all of the bad years prior. It's going to be a bumpy road going forward because, look, all these tech companies seem to be swinging the other direction. They're axing their DEI departments. They're taking the tampons out of the men's bathrooms. But even if the Hollywood follows suit and they try to make these changes, the nature in which movies are made, which is a very lengthy process, means that you're going to get a couple years more garbage before anything actually changes.
Yeah. Do you think this is going to make any difference?
No.
Having a second Trump era non-consecutively. They got their rage out of their system the first time around.
So actually, I like this idea. Like if I'm like analytically, I like the idea that they threw a hissy fit the first time. So the art didn't really come out all that evocative. This time around, they're they've developed a scab over the place where all the anger was.
Yeah.
And maybe now they can make their art that's critical, but do so in a way that's less emotionally childlike and more of an adult. Like great art can come from anger, But a lot of the times it gets lost when you're so angry, you don't know how to write it into something that's coherent and enjoyable for everyone. You could make a lot of statements still. You think I have a problem with somebody making a statement about problems in the government? No, not at all. It's just that it has to be done in a way that reaches more than just one group of people. Maybe this time around, they're so numb to it, they actually make some good art. Do I think that's what's going to happen? No.
But we'll be
I'm open to the
interested
idea.
to see them try.
Yep.
At least.
All right.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.